Are you aware that there was a number one song that talked about feminine hygiene products? Stick around. Hey everyone, I'm Michael Douglas. Welcome to this edition of Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And on this edition of the show, it's all about the lyrics returns again. We're talking about Manfred Mann's Earth Band's number one hit from late 76, early 77, Blinded by the Light. You know, it's rare for a cover of a song to overtake the original, but Manfred Mann's Earth Band's cover of Blinded by the Light is an exception. The song was originally written and recorded by Bruce Springsteen for his 1973 album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And 3 years later, British rock band's Manfred Mann's Earth Band released their cover as the opening track of their 1976 LP, The Roaring Silence. Blinded by the Light was an enormous hit for the band, leading to their breakthrough here in the U.S. One-upping a master songwriter like Springsteen, you know, it's an incredible musical achievement, and Manfred Mann's Earth Band managed to pull it off. In fact, their cover became Springsteen's first and only songwriting credit to hit number one. Now let's take a look inside the lyrics. Blinded by the Light is a high-energy track that matches the thrill of adolescence. The song is packed with the invincibility of youth and the hopeful perspective that anything's possible. The lyrics are reminiscent of Springsteen's early days as a musician with a handful of eccentric characters that he met at various venues. Some silicone sister with a manager, mister, told me I got what it takes. She said, I'll turn you on Sunny to something strong. Play the song with a funky break. However, on the roller coaster of being a young musician, the downs are just as prevalent as the ups. And the lyrics also hint at the downsides of always being on the move and struggling to make it to the top. With a boulder on my shoulder, feeling kinda older, I trip the merry-go-round. With this very unpleasing sneezing and wheezing, the calliope crashed to the ground. Now, let's dive into some of the newer lyrics on the number one hit by Manfred Mann. When putting their own spin on Blinded by the Light, Manfred Mann's Earth Band changed a few of Springsteen's original lyrics. The most recognizable part of the song, Blinded by the Light, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night, was initially cut loose like a deuce, another runner in the night. Now, even though this chorus is the most iconic part of the song, it's also notoriously misheard by fans. In the cover, revved up like a deuce sounds an awful lot like wrapped up like a douche. Yes, the feminine hygiene products. In 2005, Springsteen himself commented on this amusing mistake. Douche was like a little deuce coupe, as in a two-seater hot rod. Douche is a feminine hygienic procedure. But what can I say? The public spoke, he joked. Now let's talk a little bit about the music composition. Manfred Mann's version of the song is 7 minutes long compared to the original Springsteen 5-minute original. Now, the band added several unique instrumentals with standout guitar solos, piano riffs, and most notably, Chopsticks. Now that's the piano tune a lot of people have heard. And if you've ever taken piano lessons, Chopsticks is probably a familiar tune, and it can be played with only 2 fingers, and the harmony makes the simple song a fun one to learn and practice. Now, when the band was recording Blinded by the Light, they knew that they had to pull out all the stops to make it a hit. As they played in the studio, they got stuck trying to transition between the chorus and the verses. Mann, the band's frontman, recalled their decision to include Chopsticks in the final track. When we finally finished the album track, I thought it had a great vibe, but the next question was how to get that into a single, a radio single. The real problem was how to get it from the chorus to the verse smoothly. I just couldn't figure out a way to do it, he said. And then, and this is why you need to be in a band, our drummer Chris Slade said, play Chopsticks over it. Now, Mann was skeptical of the idea and turned it down multiple times, but when Slade kept insisting, they tried it out, and it worked surprisingly well. He goes on, I suddenly realized that he wasn't hearing chopsticks itself, just the chords, which fitted perfectly. Manfred Mann's cover of Blinded by the Light is just as well known as the original song, if not more. And while the band used their own sound and style to make it their own, they still kept Springsteen's version at the core. And both songs have the same lyrics, melody, and rock and roll sound. And regardless, Springsteen and Manfred Mann each have distinct vocals and massively talented bands, making both versions of the song totally unique. Blinded by the Light is evidence that perfect covers are an even blend of creativity and respect to the primary text. I definitely agree, and if you haven't heard the original, now's a great time to discover it. From the 1973 LP, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And one more side note, as a physician, I really can't recommend the use of douching because, well, you should just probably look it up. But what I can tell you is that this song, Blinded by the Light, and its lyrics and the misinterpretation of those lyrics have only added to the song's legendary status. And if you haven't heard it, stream it now. And then replay this episode and see how right I am. I'm Michael Douglas, and if you like what you see here, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late great Barry White always used to say, let the music play, and I'll see you on the next video.